Oh, hello there. Hi, my name's David Mello. I'm the supervisor of Children's Services here at the Fall River Public Library. And I was just about to draw a picture. I love drawing pictures. My guess is you like to draw them too, right? I thought so. Well, let me get my crayons here. And got some lovely colors. I think I'll go with blue and green. Now let's see, let me take my blue crayon out here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'll take my green crayon. Okay, let's see what we have here. I don't know quite what I drew. Does that look familiar to you? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter what you draw. Drawing can just be a lot of fun. Get a box of crayons, a nice white sheet of paper, and just draw away. And that's what our friend Pete the Cat does in this story. Pete the Cat, Crayons Rock, by Kimberly and James Dean. Oh, and he's got his crayons handy. Pete loves his box of big, groovy, colorful crayons. He loves to draw things like cars and trucks, flowers and trees, and most of all, the big blue sea. He's a pretty good artist. From rockin' red to cool cat blue, with a box of crayons, there's nothing Pete can't do. One day, Pete decided to draw something new. Let's see what he draws. His friends. What a good idea. Using lots of colors is so much fun. Pete wanted to use everyone. He scribbled and drew a great big smile. His drawings were groovy and rockin' with style. Crayons rock! Pete was proud of the picture he drew. He hoped his friends would dig them too. Let's see if they do. Pete showed Grumpy Toad first. That looks like him. Grumpy Toad said, "This doesn't look right. Those colors are way too bright." Pete thought, "Hey, no sweat. That's all right. The next one will be dynamite." Pete showed Gus his picture too. Gus asked, "Who's that supposed to be? It doesn't really look like me." "I think it looks like him." Pete thought, "Hey, no sweat, that's all right. The next one will be dynamite." And so off he goes. Oh, he's going to do a picture of his friend Callie. Pete finally showed Callie her picture. "I think it looks pretty good." Callie said, "This one is fine, but it feels like something's missing from mine." What could be missing? Can you see? "I think her whiskers are missing." That's it. Pete said, "What a mess. Bummer. I guess my drawings aren't the best." Pete started to frown. He put his crayons down. Poor Pete. In art class, the teacher asked, "Pete, what are you going to make?" "I don't know. I'm afraid of making a mistake." Pete looked around. Gus drew the coolest superheroes. Callie's flowers were awesome, out of sight. Grumpy's motorcycle was just right. Pete's heart sank. His paper was blank. That's not like Pete. The gang looked at Pete and said, "No sweat, it's all right. It doesn't have to be just right. Your art is cool because it's you. Your art is so unique. Grab your groovy box of crayons and show us your technique." The teacher agreed. Art should be fun. Art is for everyone. From rockin' red to cool cat blue, with a box of crayons, there's nothing you can't do. And Pete smiled. There are no rules. It's no big deal. Art is about how it makes you feel. Pete loved his cool art. That's the one thing Pete knew. And suddenly, Pete knew exactly what to do. Let's see what he does. He tried again. Instead of drawing them one by one, Pete drew the whole gang just having fun. Now, wow, way to go, Pete. That's a rockin' masterpiece. Grumpy Toad and Gus and Callie agreed Pete's picture was off the charts. See, that's the groovy thing about art. I think it came out really good. The best art comes from the heart. Crayons rock. Of the many birds around the world, I think penguins are just about my favorite. I just love the cool, formal way they always look. And here's a story, brand new to the library. It's called The Trouble with Penguins by Rebecca Jordan Glum. On the day the penguin discovered the person, everything changed. The penguin had been waddling along in a most penguinish manner, minding his own business, until it wasn't. Oh, hello. I'm roasting marshmallows. Would you like one? Of course the penguin would like a marshmallow. It liked it very much, in fact. Come on, I'll show you how. Ooh, he's really enjoying that marshmallow. The new friends roasted marshmallows together by the little fire. And when it was time for the penguin to go home, the person gave it a hug and the very best roasting stick. And they shared a warm goodbye. The penguin is getting an idea. I think he wants to roast his own marshmallows. Naturally, the other penguins were quite impressed and wanted to roast marshmallows by the fire too. And there they all go. They're going off to roast some marshmallows. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious. First, they were all happy to share one little fire that gave off the most delightful warmth. They found fun ways to pass the time when it wasn't their turn, which everyone was happy doing. Until they weren't. You see, the trouble with penguins is that they don't always like to share. They're fighting over the little stick. Before long, each wanted his own roasting stick and its own campfire. They built fire after fire after fire. Oh, I don't like the way this is going. After fire after fire after fire until something happened. I'm afraid to turn the page. Crack! Oh, the fires are melting the ice. And just like that, each penguin had its very own roasting stick, its very own fire, and best of all, its very own island, which was wonderful. Until it wasn't. It was lonely. Now, everyone knows the trouble with penguins is that they aren't always good at admitting when they're wrong. Thankfully, penguins are full of good intentions and aren't half bad at learning from their mistakes. Would you like to share my fire with me? Called one penguin to the other. It liked it very much, in fact. They all did. And of course, nobody likes to be left out. And there they all are together again. So they decided to give it another try. There we go, teamwork. And that was no trouble at all. And there they are. I think they all learned their lesson, huh? And what a nice marshmallow roast that is. And that's the trouble with penguins. Now in this story, we're going to meet a little girl named Bianca. Bianca loves to write letters. She loves collecting stamps. She loves going to the post office. But she's not too fond of the lady, Yolanda, who works at the post office desk. We'll see what happens in this story. It's called I Do Not Like Yolanda. It is by Zoe Abbott. I love writing letters. I love stamps. And I do not like Yolanda. Stamps are beautiful, and I collect them. Actually, I snip them off the letters I get. My grandpa gave me a box of his old stamps, too. They are cream-colored with beautiful dark ink and portraits of queens, villains, and exotic birds. Here's who I write letters to. My pen pal in Sri Lanka, my grandma in Washington, D.C., my other grandma who travels on a boat around the world, my uncle Kenta, and my friend who moved to Uganda. Here's who I do not write letters to. Yolanda. Writing letters is hard work. You've got to think ahead and spell things correctly so that someone else can read them. You've got to have interesting things to say, otherwise you might just bore their pants off. The post office is no big deal. What I'm really afraid of is getting in Yolanda's line. That lady gives me nightmares. I don't think Yolanda likes me very much, or adults for that matter. One time I spent an hour on my envelope drawings. My letter was a little bit heavy, so Yolanda weighed it. And this happened. She put a great big label right over my drawing. Another time, her scaly talons reached out for my coins, and I flinched. Seriously, who wouldn't? Next. Well, that day, I didn't even get to send my letter because I came up 5 cents short. If you are standing in line and there are 3 postal windows open, you've got 1 in 3 chances you're going to get Yolanda. I always cross everything for good luck. I think she'd like to eat me up one day. She has probably eaten up dozens of people by now. But today, I'm too excited to be afraid because I've written 5 letters, and 3 of them have drawings too, on the inside, of course. I'll need 3 domestic and 2 international stamps because my one grandma just docked in New Zealand. Today, I'm not going to be afraid of Yolanda. And if she tries to eat me up, I'll eat her up right back. So I gather all my lucky charms. I do all my luckiest things. And I cross my everything. I will not let Yolanda ruin my 5-letter day. I get to the post office. And there's only one window open. And it's guess who? I think to myself, I'm not going to run, even though I want to run off. I clutch my letters tight. And I start walking toward Yolanda. She looks kind of scared, doesn't she? All of a sudden, I'm in front of her. She looks pretty hungry, but I lift my chin and say in my most assured voice, I'll take 3 domestic and 2 internationals, please. And how was your weekend? Yolanda's mouth starts to open, and it occurs to me that I've never technically seen her teeth before, but I'm about to. And I think, great, this is what I get for having a 5-letter day. Yolanda's eyes narrow, and she leans forward, coming in for the kill. I close my eyes, and I think, this is it. Well, I just served up one of my most delightful meals that anyone has ever prepared. I open my eyes and see that her teeth are not so pointy as I have expected. She doesn't have her talons out. And she's smiling at me. So I lean in and say, "That sounds cool. Tell me more." She explains it, and it does sound delightful. She prepared a 7-course meal described in her favorite book, Babette's Feast. She tells me about turtle soup, buckwheat pancakes with caviar, sour cream and rum sponge cake with figs, candied cherries, and fruits. I'm starting to feel hungry. Then all of a sudden, I have my 5 letters and my 5 stamps in one hand and my change in the other. And I am wondering, what is caviar? And what does Yolanda's kitchen look like? But since I write a lot of letters, I know I will be back to the post office in a couple of days. I'll try to get in Yolanda's line so I can ask her. And look, Bianca has written Yolanda a letter. "Dear Yolanda, how are you? I'm fine. Made the most delicious lentil soup. It's my great-great-grandmother Lawrence's recipe. I think you would like it. It's yummy. What are you up to these days? Guess what? Barry ate a corn cob on Saturday night, but he seems fine now since he threw it up. Right back soon. Sincerely, Bianca." Well, it looks like Bianca has made a friend of Yolanda after all. Well, I hope you enjoyed these stories. If you would like to check them out yourself and enjoy them at home with your family, visit us here at the Fall River Public Library. We look forward to seeing you.